Welcome to the CEO Tech Talks podcast, where vision meets impact. I am your host, Ambreen Ahmed. Each episode, I sit down with exceptional leaders who are shaping the future of business, technology, and transformation. This show is about more than just success. It's about clarity, purpose, and those bold decisions that light the way forward. Join me as we uncover the insights, challenges, and breakthroughs from today's most inspiring voices. Leaders who are redefining what it means to lead in a rapidly changing world. This is CEO Tech Talks. Let's dive in. Today, we're exploring the ever-changing world of real estate with a leader who's helping define Houston's next era. My guest, Charlie Kriegel, is the CEO and broker of Winhill Advisors, a firm built on trust, technology, and real relationships. Charlie's story is one of resilience and reinvention, a reminder that leadership is about adaptability, connection, and purpose. Welcome, Charlie. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me today. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into it. What inspired you to build Winhill Advisors, and what is your role?
So about 12 years ago, we started working with the institutional investor. We were able to purchase over 520 homes in 10 months. So it allowed us to build out systems, utilize technology and data to bring a different aspect of acquisition or disposition to our firm. And it was a lot of fun, learning as we go and kind of building a system within the institutional realm. And it was just a new style of acquiring investment properties through single family acquisition, which brought on by technology, the ability to manage these properties on a larger scale through institutional capital. So we really kind of resonated with that approach and wanted to make sure we were a leader in that space moving forward.
Wow. So what does a typical day look like for you balancing all of this?
Well, now that we're doing disposition for most of our institutional investors or banks, we have to have a large team of virtual assistants, live individual managers here, manage expectations. Data entry is a huge component. And then also, being able to communicate in an efficient way when you're selling several hundred homes a year. Communication and transparency with our clients, with other agents is key. And you have to have experience in that field to really benefit the banks or institutional clients with experience handling those large portfolios.
Okay. So how did you first get started in real estate?
Interesting story. I was working in insurance and I was waiting on a State Farm agency to open up. And the only place they really wanted to put me were some small little towns in Texas. And I said, look, I really want to be in Houston. And my other passion, was also real estate. Even when I was in college, I was flipping properties. I was working for contractors during the summer, playing college football. And I always had a passion for architectural and then also just the being able to buy an investment property, remodel it, with your own personal touches and resell it for a profit. I just got hooked. Even in college, it was either insurance or real estate, and I found my home in real estate.
That's fun. Wow. I think you do need to have a certain level of passion to be as successful as you are in this industry with all the ups and downs, with the bubbles and the downside, et cetera. So that's awesome.
Yeah, you really have to have thick skin in real estate. Like we talked about before, you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. So you have to have that kind of mindset to learn as you go. And then just kind of, like I said, have very thick skin in real estate because you hear no way more than you'll hear yes in real estate.
Every entrepreneur's pain. So, which leads me to my next question. What lessons from your early career still shape how you lead today?
That's a great question. Dealing with different personalities. When you work with institutional investors, they're your boss. And typically in real estate, we don't have a boss. We're our own CEOs. So having that mindset that, this is really my strategic partner, but, that is my boss. That is someone that I have to hold me accountable. And then I have to hold my agents accountable too. And so kind of learning how to work around that and your work schedule and your personal life. A lot of times these were 14 to 16 hour days. We're in the office at, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't do, disposition releases till 10 p.m. because the clients were in California. So working those long hours it kind of builds up that, protective eggshell, on you when you're able to work those long hours and see results. It just kind of taught me how to really have a good work ethic and how to celebrate, like we talked about, the small wins every
Mhm.
single day so you can kind of maintain that right mindset to keep moving forward.
So, how big is your company?
So right now, between my Houston and Arlington office, we have about 100 agents underneath me.
Okay. And when did you start building your business and bringing on agents? How long has it been?
We will go into our 12th year as Winhill Advisors. When I started with a small, about 12 to 15 agents, and then we just slowly grew the right direction, making sure that we brought in agents that align with our interest, that they're team players, and just making sure that, it's symbiotic with all our agents, that we all help each other. There's no divas really here. You're able to get to your, the end line or your goal when you have everybody in the company paddling in the same direction.
So, what major shifts are you seeing right now in the real estate market?
Right now, because of more inventory in the market and with interest rates, we're seeing the shift to go into more affordability, especially on our developments. Our builders and development partners are looking for high density affordability homes. You're not seeing a lot of luxury townhomes being built inner loop anymore, and it's more based on location. So our developers, clients are really focused on schools, transport, and the ability to be 30 minutes from where you live. I think that's been really a shift in focus from both people is affordability and access to transit and access to their jobs. Most of all of our developers right now have been doing this for a very long time. And, we work with all of the major builders. So their product line really doesn't shift. It's just the size of a lot and size of the home, but you still have the same amenities within these communities. And the home styles and the finishes in the homes are still as high quality as you'd see an entry level home in a subdivision, outside of the city.
Hmm. Okay. So, how has the rise of AI, automation, and online listings changed the way you serve clients?
Great question. I mean, right now we utilize everything from land ID, to identify land opportunities in areas that are in high growth. It allows us to streamline the process by utilizing ChatGPT, downloading data for our CRM systems. AI has really just kind of helped streamline the process. You don't have to call the city officials to see if there's utilities there. It's right there at your fingertips. It just helps us streamline the process. And then also, being a data junkie, we're able to pull data and put it into a system for follow-up and for just lead generation. So I think we, out of all the companies, really utilize technology and AI for a benefit and for lead generation and to really pipeline projects for not only now, but in the near future.
Okay. And is this system designed in-house or is it a platform available in the real estate market?
Yeah, all of these are nationwide platforms. Our
Okay.
CRM system, you have to be within the top 10% of your market to have access to this. And we've run
Okay.
that system for, almost 11 or 12 years now. So we have kind of, like we talked about, I have an insulation if the market shifts or there's a huge downturn or the market drops completely. We have that insulation of the amount of data that we've created over the last 11 years that we can survive in any climate, which I think is a
Okay.
lot different from most companies that focus on heavily on marketing. We focus heavily on data and using technology to kind of bridge those gaps.
Okay. So, what's working well for you right now in your business and what's been most frustrating?
I think what's working right now in our businesses are build to rent communities. There's, a big shift from affordability and, the increase in cost of maintaining a home that most either, whether you're millennial or you're empty nester, they want the flexibility of having a place to live within a new construction community, a vibrant community, a safe community, but they don't want the overhead of maintaining a home, high interest rates. So we're able to kind of blend what a consumer really wants in a community and giving it to them at an affordable price. If you look at the numbers, it's about $1,500 more to own a home than to rent a home nationwide. So we kind of use that data as a shift to really kind of help consumers with what's really going on in the market today.
Wow. It keeps shifting. Sometimes it's a buyer's market, sometimes it's a seller's market, sometimes it's better to rent, sometimes it's better to buy. It's ever shifting. Do you see any of these shifts on the horizon?
Yeah, I mean, we always read into the financial journals about 6 months in advance with our institutional partners. So we're able to pivot really quickly if we do see a shift. I mean, obviously, we know that interest rates are coming down. So that is going to help relieve, some of the stress. But I think there's so much buyer demand right now that once we see interest rates, reduced to a price that's a little bit more normal, you'll see it, kind of shift from a buyer's market where we have today into a more even market. I don't think we're going to get into a seller's market unless something else happens, but I think you're going to see a more balanced market next year. And it's going to help consumers, it's going to help real estate companies and firms. But right now, it's just a challenge with the constraints that we're seeing with interest rates and things of that nature.
So what's been frustrating in your business?
That's a great question. I think, the frustration comes with some of the changes that you've seen in the brokerage models. It makes it really hard for a boutique brokerage and most boutique brokers to really thrive when there's so much competition from the larger brokerages. And whether it's just what's being put out in the media, but I really think that there's a lot of value you get from a boutique brokerage like myself with having the mentorship from a leader, having to be able to work within a group and have that private type of mentorship and growth. But I really, there's not much, because we're such a niche brokerage in the development, working with institutional capital, that we don't really feel a lot of the market shifts or changes. But I do think that, the little or small brokerages kind of get put on the side because, you're competing against the big guys and the big mergers. And a lot of the media that comes out is over those larger brokerages and how those shifts are going to affect other people in our industry.
So human connection and your brand is incredibly important then, correct?
I believe so. I believe we provide more value to our agents just by being a one-on-one approach, going through business plans. And even though I have over 100 agents, we still have that personal approach and coaching. I train and coach at least 2 or 3 times out of the week. So I think having that personal mentorship and someone that is a leader that says, I'm not going to just tell you to do this, I'm going to help and show you how I also do this. So you can see that even no matter how much experience or where I am in my career, I'm willing to go and do the little things, the income producing activities daily that really make a big difference in people's lives and in their business model.
I think that's true leadership for sure. And how many of us would appreciate that kind of leader? And it shows in your success, I think. So which metrics are you most focused on improving in your business?
I think being able to find more land opportunities. It's, going direct to seller so we can explain how the seller can maximize his exit strategy. But when you talk to most listing agents, that have land, they really don't have any experience. It's either their relationship or family member. They don't know what access to utilities or what type of density or how it can be subdivided. So really the metrics we're working on is trying to get more direct to seller when it comes to land, to educate them on what is their opportunities or how can they maximize their retirement. Most people that are selling large tracts of land, they inherited them and they don't have any idea of what the exit strategy looks like. For our firm, we specialize in making sure we take care of that seller. We educate them on an exit strategy, and we make a plan that's going to benefit them, long term.
Where do you want to be with Winhill Advisors 6 to 12 months from now?
We want to be the leader in the build to rent space and working with institutional capital. We expect institutional capital to come back the second or third quarter of next year. So we want to be the leader in that space to add the most value to either acquisition, disposition, or providing them, lots that they can build on for build to rent. We really want to be the leader in that space.
Okay. And what steps are you taking to get to that leadership position?
A lot of hard work, a lot of technology, a lot of data. And I've been blessed with a lot of great individuals and employees and agents that have been with me for 10 or 11 years. They can kind of finish my sentence. So, just having the right team in place, the right support group, and just making sure that we stay educated. We're really big on education, going to masterminds. I told you before, I speak at the IMN conference. I'm on panels. I'm always trying to learn. So I think a lot of it comes down to education and just supporting the people around you and having them support you back.
Wow, I want to learn. You're making me want to learn. If you could solve one major challenge in your business or the broader industry today, what would it be?
Gosh, that is a tough one right there. One thing that I wish I could solve. I wish everyone would have the same work ethic as I have. I wish everyone could wake up with the enthusiasm of real estate like I have, and that could be universal. A lot of agents really get down if they hear the word no, or they have a really bad transaction and that sticks with them. Just if I could change that for them, or, give them my mindset, or, kind of keep them in that positive attitude. I don't think you can get anywhere in any industry without the right mindset and the right basically support group behind you. So if I could give everyone the right mindset and the right support group and the right information, that would really shift, how real estate professionals are looked at and respected in our industry.
Okay. What advice would you give to younger agents trying to build credibility and brand presence?
The first step really is to understand what your niche in real estate is. If you're a one-size-fits-all agent, you're going to have a longer time to really find success. Find something that you're passionate about, whether you're working with VA buyers, first-time home buyers, sellers, investors, working on commercial. There's so many lanes of real estate. Get an education to become a specialist. If you can be within the top 10% of that niche, you're going to find success. You're going to find people that you resonate with, and you're going to have more success in real estate that you ever expected. But find something you're passionate about and stay in that lane. Don't be a one-size-fits-all agent, because it's going to burn you out, and you're going to be abused by, not having that one specialization that really sets you apart from the rest of the industry.
I love that. So let's switch over into a rapid fire fun segment here. What's your favorite neighborhood in Houston right now?
River Oaks.
Nice. Okay. What's your dream home feature you'd never give up?
A mountainside villa.
Okay. Finish this sentence. A great real estate agent should always be
transparent.
Love it. Charlie, thank you for sharing your insights and leadership journey with us today. Your vision for a more transparent and tech-forward real estate experience reflects the very heart of what CEO Tech Talks is all about: clarity, courage, and connection. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
For our listeners, visit winhilladvisors.com to learn more about Charlie's work and the Houston market. Thank you for joining CEO Tech Talks. I hope today's conversation sparked new insights and inspiration for your own leadership journey. Until next time, stay inspired, stay visionary, and keep leading with light. Brought to you by Neura AI Consulting.